Hello, Ed Kang here, creator of MDNA. You scored SSA, which stands for Sacrificial Service and Authority. I'm going to give you an overview, but before we do, remember, MDNA is all about a spectrum, your intrinsic motivational spectrum. So it's important to look at both your gifts to understand the full picture of who you are, what you do, how come you do it, all that good stuff. Now, in another video, I'm going to be talking about how you can be left brain or right brain SSA. So let's dive right into it. SSA stands for Sacrificial Service and Authority. Basically means that you're willing to sacrifice, you're willing to serve, and we'll talk about this in a little moment. This leads to all sorts of authority for you. In other words, it's about servant leadership. Now, I love the SSA. Servant leadership is extremely important today. It makes you responsive to meeting tangible needs. You're highly functional in supportive roles and building platforms of success under other people. So when you see something that just needs to be done to help other people, you do it. You don't even have to be asked. You just do it. People really love having SSAs around because you empower them, especially leaders. You value a high degree of loyalty. That's super important. You're loyal to them and it's important to you. Loyalty is intrinsically motivating to you. And you're very honoring when you are a servant leader for other people. Now that's your purpose. Now your passions mean that you tend to avoid the spotlight. You prefer not to be in the spotlight if you can. And that doesn't mean you won't be in the spotlight, but if you can be behind the scenes, that's okay. You don't need all that attention. You're very patient and you have a lot of endurance while serving the needs of others. And you have higher than normal energy levels. You're like that Energizer bunny, especially when serving other people. You just keep going and going and going and going. Might I say, sometimes to the detriment of your own energy and your own health. All right, you're focused more on immediate goals versus long term. You look around and you see everything that needs to get done. And you prefer to execute versus delegate. And this is one of the traps, I wouldn't say trap, but some things that hold you back, especially if you're in a highly functional team or you're in a work environment where you need to delegate. You'd prefer to do everything yourself because it just needs to get done. And this is something to be aware of. Now, what your potential is you have the ability to create environments of hospitality to foster community and culture. SSAs are just willing to be hospitable, and it makes everybody feel at home. And that's really important when it comes to culture. Your greatest fulfillment comes from fulfilling the needs of others. This doesn't necessarily mean they need to be happy. You're not about necessarily making everybody happy, although that's a byproduct of you meeting their needs, but we're talking about tangible needs that just need to get done. You have the strong ability to maintain and prevent established initiatives from stalling. Again, this is all about you just building that platform of success and empowering the team. You function well in professional hierarchy. You have no problems with other people being the boss. And you're very perseverant. This is what all your potential is about. Now, here's where you want to watch out for a few things, as we touched upon earlier. You can find it difficult saying no and maintaining boundaries. So if you're a desynchronized SSA, it means saying no can be really hard for you. And that can mean people can take advantage of your boundaries. You're tempted to make excuses for the underperformance of others. Because you don't want to see them not do well, you might overlook areas in which they can improve. Let's put it that way. You can be exploited and become an enabler. And exploited is a really strong word, but the SSAs that we talk to, a lot of them can say, yes, I've been exploited. People have broken my boundaries over and over again, and it's become a regular thing in all areas of life. And you can avoid positions of authority. Now, this is the best part. Why it's called SSA, Sacrificial Service and Authority, is because the way you serve others is the exact character that we need in leaders, servant leadership. So you'll be often given opportunities to lead because of how valuable you are and your character and how you're intrinsically motivated. And so because you avoid the spotlight, you may say, no, I'm not the leader. I can't do that. Let somebody else do that. But it's important to understand that a truly synchronized SSA is willing to be a servant leader. You're willing to lead. You can avoid positions of authority. We talked about that. And you can question personal value and contribution for teams, just like we said. You may be thinking, can I really do that? Is that me? Now, if you're an SSA and you have that MDNA, if you started a company or you were starting a group or any sort of initiative you had a vision for, you would imprint a brand culture called leadership platforms, meaning your intrinsic motivation would put the social DNA in the organization of always being about platforms underneath that develop leaders. People love working for SSA companies because they're always taken care of in that way. So that's the SSA. Like I said, super important. I might want to add that when I help organizations with their HR, I let them know whenever you assess someone, if you're doing job interviews and you're trying to recruit people and they score SSA, immediately give them a job interview because every organization needs servant leadership. All right, look forward to spending more time with you and helping you grow as an SSA.